The narrator reveals that the path the first Demon King tread upon was both legendary and catastrophic for humanity. This was a monumental feat for the demon race, but a disaster for mankind. It is said that the first Demon King made a contract with the devil god of predation. In what seems to be a library, two characters are conversing. One of them mentions, "By the way," implying that the conversation is about to shift to something important, possibly related to the information about the first Demon King and the devil god. Gilbagius, holding a book, asks, "Are devil gods and devils relatives, or their superior or something?" He seems to be curious about the hierarchy and relationship between these powerful beings. Another character, who appears masked and somewhat amused, starts to chuckle with a series of "fu laughs. Gilbagius looks unimpressed and asks, "Hey, what are you laughing at?" showing that the masked figure's reaction caught his attention, but also slightly annoyed him. A dramatic reaction unfolds as someone yells, "Blasphemy!" Gilbagius, shocked, says, "Whoa! What?" showing his confusion as something intense is happening around them. The character, likely Sophia, frantically corrects Gilbagius, exclaiming, "It's a blasphemy to call them our relatives." She's clearly upset and stresses, "Never say that again, understand?" It shows the immense reverence and fear devils hold for the devil gods, implying their vast power and superiority. Sophia continues, saying, "Devil gods are..." She appears both fearful and serious as she tries to explain the immense power difference between devils and devil gods. The imposing figure of Antendixis, identified as the devil god of taboo, is seated confidently. Her appearance suggests her immense power, and she is gazing down at those before her. Gilbagius is shocked, exclaiming, "She is one of those?" The narration further explains that a concept is strongly bound to a single devil, and these beings have transcended the pinnacle of power. With many devils under their reign, these devil gods ruled the devil world as one of its pillars. Gilbagius, feeling completely overwhelmed by Antendixis, realizes that she has seen through all of his intentions. He is stunned by the power difference between regular devils and the devil gods, calling them more troublesome and vicious. Alexander is seen kneeling powerlessly in front of Antendixi, while Gilbagius continues to process the dire situation. Antendixis mischievously licks her finger, asking in a menacing tone, "What should I do with you?" Antendixis mocks the situation, stating that it is a big deal that the former hero of humanity, now burning with revenge, has become a demon prince. She continues by suggesting that exposing this new demon prince to the demons would be quite entertaining, saying, "Surely it will be interesting, won't it?" Alexander, the fallen hero, begs Antendixis to spare him from such a fate. He pleads, "Please, I beg you," showing his desperation. Alexander is panicking internally, struggling to find a way out of this dire situation, thinking, "What do I do to get through this? What should I do?" Antendixis calmly explains the reasoning behind her actions, stating that, "Due to the agreement made by Cannibal, we must cooperate with the demons as much as possible." Alexander angrily questions Antendixis, saying, "Aren't you a devil god? You are one of the devil world rulers. Why are you being obedient to the demons?" Despite her earlier explanation, Antendixis shows a fierce and rebellious expression, thinking, "I'll be damned if we are obedient," hinting that she may not be as loyal to the demons as it seems. Antendixis reflects angrily, "The demons, the ones who came to beg us for strength," revealing his frustration. He acknowledges that they're only respecting the agreement made between the demons and the devil gods. Antendixis looks calm as she considers her thoughts, pausing briefly with, "though." Antendixis explains that the devil world is more vibrant and lively than ever, thanks to the power flowing in. She leans back, displaying her confidence in the thriving world under their rule. Antendixis concludes with a sense of duty, stating, "It's a ruler's duty to ensure a bountiful territory," signifying her commitment to maintaining a prosperous devil world. Alexander looks at Antendixis, flailing her feet, reflecting to himself, "She is bored, isn't she?" as he attempts to read her behavior. Antendixis continues to sit calmly on her throne, appearing indifferent. She considers something interesting she could cook up, musing if there's something more entertaining than simply exposing Alexander to the demons. Alexander thinks to himself, realizing the situation and understanding that Antendixis is testing him. He senses the danger and feels that her boredom could lead to unexpected actions, commenting, "I can feel it even with our short interaction." Antendixis comments about her palace's decay despite its bountiful powers, saying, "This beautiful palace is already decaying even with bountiful powers." Antendixis looks at Alexander with a playful expression, teasing him by saying, "Don't tell me you want to be my contractor. That's just a boring self-defense." Alexander asks Antendixis, "What kind of contractor befits you?" Antendixis proudly declares, "The one who breaks taboo, and not any half-baked taboo on top of that." Antendixis's criteria for a contractor, someone bold enough to break taboos, while Alexander tries to gauge what he needs to do to fit that mold. Alexander, with an intense expression, confidently declares, "Then there's no one that's more befitting than me," showing his resolve to become the contractor. Alexander's determination to prove that he is the one capable of meeting Antendixis's criteria as her contractor. Alexander reflects on his past identity, stating, "I am the hero," and acknowledging that he once fought the Dark Clan to protect humanity. He looks contemplative, realizing that to secure his position as the Demon Prince, he must make sacrifices. Alexander resolves that, "From now on, I will have to abandon innocent people," indicating his commitment to his new role despite the moral cost. Alexander approaches Antendixis, thinking to himself, "I will use them as my stepping stones," indicating his resolve to manipulate others for his ambition. He coldly reflects, "I will cut them off for the end goal," implying that he is ready to betray those close to him to achieve his ultimate objective. Alexander contemplates the darker nature of his decisions, acknowledging that, killing off the ones I need to protect, that taboo will surely be broken in the process, showing his acceptance of the moral compromises he must make. As he walks away, he concludes, "It's something I have been thinking for a long time. Guess it's inevitable," further solidifying his readiness to follow this path despite its consequences. Alexander declares with confidence, "I am the Demon Prince," affirming his new identity and role within the demonic hierarchy. He defines what it means to be the Demon Prince, saying, "Someone who should inherit the Demon King's will and dedicates himself to the kingdom," acknowledging the responsibilities that come with the title. Despite understanding his role, Alexander resolutely states, "Even so, I shall bring destruction," showcasing his intent to follow a path of chaos and ruin, even as a prince. Gilbagius walks forward, boldly declaring, "I shall trample the loyalty of my subordinates," showing his readiness to betray those who follow him. He continues with a shocking statement, "I shall make a bloodbath out of my parents too," revealing his extreme willingness to forsake even his family. Gilbagius acknowledges the enormity of his plan, saying, "Born as a prince, yet I shall be a traitor who destroys the kingdom." He realizes the scale of the taboo he is about to break. As he reflects on his words, Gilbagius admits, "I only realized now it came out from my mouth," showing a moment of surprise at the weight of his own ambition. Gilbagius struggles with his emotions, confessing, "I have grown feelings for them." He refers to his bonds with his servants, the night elves and beastmen servants. He acknowledges Sophia and Plataphia, two individuals who have expectations of him, calling Sophia annoying and Plataphia over-expecting. Despite his feelings, Gilbagius resolves, "I will be dropping all of them to hell," a clear statement of his intention to betray them. Gilbagius declares, "I will be breaking all kinds of taboos with these hands," signifying his intent to transgress both his human and demon roles as a hero and demon prince. Gilbagius confidently asks Antendixes, "O devil god, there's no more befitting contractor than me, right?" implying his desire to be recognized as her chosen contractor. Antendixes stares at Gilbagius, listening to his claim without much reaction as he attempts to assert his worthiness. Antendixes finally responds, acknowledging his abilities by saying, "Certainly, there aren't many that can beat you." She continues, "I admit," showing that she sees potential in Gilbagius as a worthy contractor, though the tone remains somewhat dismissive. Antendixes fiercely declares to Gilbagius, "Even so, it's not enough to convince a devil god," showing her firm stance on the requirements needed to form a contract with her. She continues, explaining with intensity, "You must offer a price that can measure up to it," demanding a significant offering for the contract. Antendixes presents the two ways to make a contract with a devil. Either you offer your magic power to the devil as a form of exchange, the explanation continues, or offer something equivalent to the devil, as Antendixes emphasizes that there are steep terms to forming such a contract. Gilbagius confidently states, "Let me tell you I'm not as shallow as that cannibal," making it clear that his intentions differ from the usual expectations. He continues, "I don't want power as offering, nor do I want something pitiful like your soul." Antendixes challenges Gilbagius, demanding, "I want something more charming. Try and convince me if you can," showing her desire for a more valuable and intriguing price. The text, "A price that can measure up to a devil god," emphasizes the magnitude of the offering required to form a contract with Antendixes. Gilbagius decisively says, "I will," in response to Antendixes' challenge, showing his commitment. Gilbagius concludes with the bold statement, "Destroy the dark portal," revealing his grand plan as the ultimate offering. Gilbagius determination to meet Antendixes, high expectations by offering something extraordinary. Antendixes is taken aback, saying, "Huh?" as she processes Gilbagius' unexpected statement. Her wide-eyed expression suggests that she's surprised by his words. Gilbagius explains his plan to Antendixes, stating, "I will certainly do it in order to deplete the demon race's power and destroy the kingdom." He acknowledges that he doesn't know when or how yet, but he is committed to the cause, urging Antendixes, "Hence, let's cooperate." Antendixes shifts back in her seat, responding skeptically, "That's bullshit." She clearly doubts Gilbagius' resolve or honesty about his plans. Gilbagius gets close to Antendixes, almost taunting her. He challenges her by painting a grim picture. "Imagine, as one of the devil world's rulers, you'll be breaking the agreement and damage this flourishing devil world. Your dignity and status will be dragged through the mud." Gilbagius continues to push, telling Antendixes that the opportunity to break that taboo is presented to you. He entices her with the idea of defying the norms and breaking the rules she's bound to. Antendixes looks stunned, her expression showing deep concern as Gilbagius corners her with his words, suggesting the high stakes of breaking taboo. Gilbagius uses psychological tactics to persuade Antendixes by reminding her of the risks and offering her the opportunity to embrace the taboo. Antendixis resists Gilbagius's proposal, exclaiming, "Stop talking nonsense! You want me to cooperate with you in destroying the Dark Portal?" She highlights the importance of the Dark Portal for the livelihood of the Devil world. Still incredulous, Antendixis accuses Gilbagius of trying to force her to go against the agreement that supports the demons, saying, "You want a devil god like me to break the agreement in supporting the demons?" Antendixis is visibly agitated, panting, and thinking about the consequences. "If I do all that, my dignity and reputation will fall to the bottom." She continues her heated rant, stating how his plan would lead to the torment of baby devils and further damage her standing, pushing her to the edge of defiance against her responsibilities. Antendixis's internal conflict as Gilbagius attempts to persuade her to betray her world by destroying the Dark Portal, jeopardizing her status and livelihood. We see an intense moment with Antendixis. Antendixis appears to be in a state of heightened emotion or pleasure, as shown by their flushed expression and open mouth, along with the dialogue, "Ah, how delightful!" with a stark contrast in mood. Gilbagius, within a stoic expression, observes the situation and simply states, "Pervert." This dry and almost dismissive reaction suggests they're either disgusted or disapproving of what he's witnessing. Antendixis seems to be reacting with excitement and embarrassment as Gilbagius wonders if this reaction is an affirmation of his offer, saying, should I take that as an affirmation?" Antendixis responds with a confident, very well, acknowledging Gilbagius' determination and declaring that he has earned the contract. Antendixis states that she will pardon Gilbagius for his secret from the demon race, adding that it would be troublesome if he dies before she receives the price for the contract. Gilbagius lets out a sigh of relief, saying, "I made it somehow, I guess," showing that the negotiation was intense but successful. Antendixis wipes her face as she acknowledges Gilbagius's lively spirit and comments that despite his soul being tattered and reborn into a new body, he still remembers his hatred for the demon race. Antendixis begins challenging Gilbagius, asking him to recall personal details about his previous life, like where he was born. Gilbagius becomes defensive as Antendixis questions his memory, saying, "What are you talking about? I remember them clearly." Antendixis pushes further, asking about the names of his parents and his precious friend, which visibly causes Gilbagius to become uncomfortable. Gilbagius struggles to recall the names of people from his past life, as their faces are now blurred in his memory, yet he begins with, "The name is Gilbagius," hesitates for a moment before recalling Claire. Antendixis pushes further by asking for the name of his mentor. Reflecting on his life, Gilbagius says he had many mentors, explaining how different people played that role, such as the teacher in the orphanage, the master of the order, and the instructor of the Holy Church. But he struggles to complete his thought. Gilbagius appears distressed as he mentions his fragmented memories, stating, "It's like there are maggots gnawing on my memories. They aren't coming out." The dialogue continues with Gilbagius, comparing his fragmented memories to something indescribable, hinting at deep inner turmoil. "Right, it's as if..." The scene shifts to Gilbagius and Antendixis, where she reflects on his condition, confirming, "That's what I meant by your soul being tattered," while Gilbagius walks beside her, looking troubled and reflecting on her words. Antendixis explains to Gilbagius that he was devoured by Cannibal's wicked spell, but his tenacious revenge allowed his soul to survive. She further adds that the holes in his memory will never return, and they will continue to expand as he lives on as a demon. Antendixis offers Gilbagius an option, asking if they should cancel the contract now, stating that she would not expose his identity since he has shown her interesting things. Antendixis gives Gilbagius the choice to continue his life as a demon, further implying that the decision is his to make. Gilbagius vividly recalls the day his village was burned down and the fire that fueled his vow for revenge. A shadowy figure appears in Gilbagius' mind, and he firmly states, "I remember." He firmly states, "I remember my vow of revenge." Gilbagius, with a serious eyes, responds with, "This is fine." Gilbagius resolves, saying, "That's good enough for me," as his determination remains unwavering. Antendixis acknowledges Gilbagius's resolve, stating, "Well then, I see," while maintaining a composed demeanor. Gilbagius watches as a figure quickly departs by jumping down from the staircase, leaving the scene with urgency. Gilbagius walks forward, his expression serious and resolute, moving towards something significant. Antendixis floats gracefully in the air, exuding confidence and a playful smile as she looks ahead. Hands from Gilbagius and Antendixis extend towards each other, solidifying a pact between them. Both Gilbagius and Antendixis seal their agreement by shaking hands. Antendixis declares, "It's a contract," as a powerful moment of alliance is formed. His marks the conclusion of the chapter, with the partnership now officially established. The final text, "To be continued," indicates more to come. Gilbagius and Antendixis are about to seal their contract. Both are focused on the moment as they prepare to shake hands. The text boldly states, "It's a contract." As the handshake is about to happen, Gilbagius pauses and swipes his hand back, saying, "Hold on, no," catching Antendixis off guard. Gilbagius asks Antendixis to confirm something, stating, "Your authority is gaining power by violating taboos. Is that correct?" Antendixis responds, "That's one way to say it, but that's not all." Antendixis grins confidently, saying, "Guess I really should explain it." Antendixis elaborates, "I am the devil god that reigns over taboo. Be it in the devil world or the real world, my power increases when taboos are violated." Antendixis continues, "My contractor shall gain more power the more they violate taboos." New taboos? Antendixis, with a smug expression, responds, "Yup." Antendixis adds, "And once you have grown accustomed to my power, new taboos can be created." She proudly comments, "You should be grateful." A voice informs Gilbagius that blinking is taboo, while chains are seen as a metaphor for restriction. Gilbagius struggles with the new restriction and rubs his eye, saying, "I can't close my eyes." Antendixis adds, "That's how it works." The voice explains, "It's the same as how I made you talk earlier, connecting this new restriction with the previously enforced action." An explanation appears, "So it's a magic that restricts or enforces an action," while an illustration of a figure bound in chains provides a visual metaphor of restriction. Gilbagius contemplates the power of this magic, thinking, "Strong." Gilbagius continues, "Although it might be resisted depending on the opponent's magic power, they have to be conscious of resisting as well." Gilbagius feels overwhelmed by the power of the spell, admitting to himself, "It's ridiculously strong. It is a powerful spell that can be cast without complex chanting or rituals." Gilbagius begins to feel the effects of the spell, a tear forming in his eye as he realizes its strength. The devil god mockingly says, "He? At your limit already? How pitiful." She enjoys teasing Gilbagius as he struggles. The devil god continues teasing, saying, "Whatever should I do? So pitiful." While Gilbagius gets frustrated, yelling, "Stop joking already! No, wait!" Antendixis, with wide eyes, says, "By the way, I'm also affected by it." She looks strained, with tears welling up in her eyes. Gilbagius continues, "Isn't that bad?" Acknowledging how the spell affects both of them. Gilbagius realizes that breathing itself has become taboo. A small, exaggerated diagram shows Gilbagius and Antendixis as skeletons, with the text, "We would both die." Antendixis explains that she, as the devil god of taboo, is more tightly bound to the rules than anyone else. Her authority cannot break the taboos alone. Gilbagius contemplates and asks, which means you can't break taboos by yourself. Antendixis closes her eyes and replies, that's why I found your offer very tempting, showing her intrigue in their potential collaboration to break taboos together. Antendixis, standing next to Gilbagius, asks him if he has any more questions or clarifications before proceeding with the contract. Her words, "Is there anything else you want to confirm?" reflect her straightforwardness, ensuring that Gilbagius fully understands what he's getting into. This is a pivotal moment where both characters are about to enter into a serious agreement, and Antendixis is giving him one last chance to ask questions. Gilbagius responds with a simple, sure, indicating that he's ready to move forward with the contract without any further questions. His expression is firm, showing his determination and resolve. He's fully prepared to proceed, accepting the consequences of entering into a contract with a powerful entity like Antendixis. Antendixis, looking calm and somewhat serene, warns Gilbagius of her capricious nature. She says, there's no telling if her mood might change by a whim. This is a critical statement because it highlights her unpredictability as the devil god. Even though they seem to be on good terms, Antendixis is hinting that her moods and decisions are highly unpredictable, and Gilbagius cannot fully trust that the current agreement will last. This serves as a reminder of the delicate balance in their relationship. Antendixis continues, reflecting on their improved relationship, saying, although we're talking on a better term than before, she is still a devil god. This emphasizes the fact that even though their negotiation has progressed smoothly, Antendixis's true nature as a devil god means she could easily change her mind or twist the terms of their agreement if she so desires. This adds an element of tension, showing that even though they've reached a mutual understanding, Antendixis's position as a chaotic force remains intact. Gilbagius, thinking to himself, reflects on the urgency of the situation. He acknowledges, I must obtain her strength before she changes her mind. He knows that time is of the essence and that he needs to secure Antendixis' power as quickly as possible. This inner monologue showcases Gilbagius's strategic thinking. He's aware that any delay might lead to Antendixis deciding to withhold her power, or worse, turn against him entirely. This internal pressure to act fast drives the tension in the scene. Gilbagius resolves to move forward, thinking, then I will return to the real world and, implying that once he has secured Antendixis' power, he will use it for his purposes in the real world. This panel solidifies Gilbagius' determination to return to the world equipped with the strength of the devil god to achieve his goals, whatever they may be. It closes the conversation on a note of resolve, showing that Gilbagius is fully committed to sealing this dangerous but potentially rewarding contract. Antendixis suddenly realizes something important and exclaims, ah, no, I need to make sure of something. Her concern shifts the mood as she raises an urgent question about the contract they're about to make. This panel captures the devil god's quick shift in focus, reminding Gilbagius that she needs clarification before they proceed. Antendixis explains her concern by asking, how much should I fill with my authority? As she gestures to an image of a vessel, symbolizing Gilbagius's capacity. The image emphasizes the concept that there's a limit to how much power she can give him, and she's curious about how much his vessel can handle. Gilbagius, still confused, responds, isn't the more the better? It's not like I have a choice anyway. His response shows that he's uncertain but willing to take on as much power as possible, even if he doesn't fully understand the consequences. The ambiguity of the situation reflects the risks he's willing to take to obtain the authority of Antendixis. Antendixis, with a casual attitude, admits, "Welp, I was asking just in case." This nonchalant response suggests that even though she asked an important question, she's not overly concerned. Her playful and carefree nature shines through, and it contrasts with the serious contract they are discussing. Gilbagius, taken aback by her sudden question, responds with confusion. Eh? He's not fully sure what she means or what the right answer is. This shows his uncertainty and how he's still trying to grasp the full weight of the contract. Antendixis, smiling confidently, stretches out her hand and shakes Gilbagius's hand as they prepare to finalize the contract. The exchange signifies the agreement and the transfer of her authority to him. This panel captures the formal yet strange interaction between the two, with a handshake sealing a deal that could alter their fates. Antendixis, with a calm and authoritative expression, initiates the ritual by stating, "In the name of devil god Antendixis, hero Alexander shall receive power." This marks the beginning of the contract between the two, with Antendixis granting power to Gilbagius. Gilbagius, with a serious look, responds, "In the name of hero Alexander, devil god Antendixis shall receive taboos." He acknowledges his role, offering up the promised taboos to Antendixis, strengthening her power. Gilbagius declares, "The contract is formed." His expression is one of resolution, knowing that the pact is now sealed and they are bound by its terms. Antendixis gazes downward with a quiet, contemplative expression. The weight of the contract, the exchange of power and taboos, and the mutual bond they now share is reflected in her demeanor. Gilbagius grabs Antendixis's hand tightly, a close-up of their hands symbolizing the seriousness and intensity of the situation. Gilbagius's face is stern as he reacts to the events unfolding. Antendixis begins to laugh menacingly, saying, "Foo-foo! Foo-foo-foo!" Her sinister laughter indicates that she is fully aware of what's about to happen. Antendixis, with her laughter escalating, shouts, "Ha ha 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 ha!" as the situation intensifies. Gilbagius holds her hand tightly, seemingly trying to restrain her or hold on to control. Antendixis suddenly yells, "It's too late!" Her expression and body language show that she's confident something irreversible has begun, leaving Gilbagius in a vulnerable position. Gilbagius's grip on her hand tightens, and we see his strained face as he tries to maintain control. However, he winces in pain, and an "ugh" escapes him, showing that something is going wrong. A powerful surge of energy overwhelms Gilbagius, and he screams out in agony as his body contorts. The intensity of the transformation is visually highlighted by the jagged, chaotic lines surrounding him. A dark, swirling mass of energy is shown, described as a muddy stream that symbolizes the chaotic forces at play. The text explains how this stream has concentrated the hidden principles of this world and is corrupting it, making everything rot. The overwhelming, frightening energy continues to rush into Gilbagius, further destabilizing him. This energy seems beyond his control, as something terrifying is happening within him. The energy is reshaping Gilbagius from within, twisting his form, possibly in ways he cannot fully comprehend or reverse. The visual suggests an internal transformation is taking place, driven by the immense power he is absorbing or being subjected to. Antendixis, with a dark swirl of energy around her, coldly comments, "Your soul is quite dried out. Guess this vessel can take more than expected." She observes the extent of the strain being placed on Gilbagius, noting the limits being pushed. Gilbagius clenches his teeth, clearly suffering, while the swirling energy continues to engulf him, tightening around his body. His pain is evident, with sharp exclamations like "ugh" and "gah" highlighting his torment. Antendixis tells Gilbagius to rejoice, because he's the only one who has ever received so much power from a devil god. Her voice has an eerie, authoritative tone, emphasizing the rarity and danger of the situation. Gilbagius is barely able to get the words out as he says, "I am," struggling under the immense weight of the power being forced upon him. His hand, reaching out as if trying to grasp for something to hold on to, fades into the background as he mentally and physically drowns in the overwhelming energy. The sensation of drowning in power is symbolic of his soul being submerged under its force. This page dramatically illustrates Gilbagius' internal and external struggle as the power from Antendixis overwhelms him, pushing him to his very limits. The dialogue and imagery show the weight of the contract and the consequences of handling such immense power. Gilbagius gasps and coughs, clearly straining from the overwhelming power transfer. He's still catching his breath as he stands up, shaken. Antendixis observes Gilbagius, amused. "Oh my," she says, acknowledging his transformation. "I'm not sure whether you are a human, a demon, or even a devil right now." This statement reflects her uncertainty about the effect the immense power has had on his essence. Gilbagius, still catching his breath, questions her. "What the hell are you talking about?" He seems confused and slightly alarmed by her words, unsure of what changes have taken place within him. Gilbagius, standing unsteadily, looks at his reflection, now confronted by the reality of his transformation. In the distance, Antendixis stands calmly, having already expected this outcome, while Gilbagius sways, trying to process the changes. We get the first view of Gilbagius' new form as he comes face to face with the hero of humanity, Alexander, in his prime form. This visual hints that Gilbagius may now possess immense power, but the full extent of his transformation is unclear. This page introduces the key theme of transformation. Gilbagius has received immense power, but it has left his identity and form altered to the point that even Antendixis can't definitively classify him. The appearance of Alexander in his prime form suggests a significant change in Gilbagius' strength or destiny. A set of options appear, indicating what elements have changed about Alexander's appearance. Demon's horns, devil god's skin, devil god's eyes. These reflect the visible effects of the power shift. Alexander, now sporting demon horns, looks at himself in shock, worried about the consequences of his transformation. He anxiously asks, "This won't affect my real form, will it?" He's clearly concerned about the permanence of the devilish traits he now possesses, like the horns. Antendixis responds nonchalantly, "Just a little, probably," assuring him that it might not be too drastic. Her casual attitude contrasts sharply with Alexander's evident concern. Alexander receives a stern warning. "Remember, do not enter the devil world next time. You won't be able to return to the real world." Gilbagius, standing beside him, also takes in this critical information. Antendixis tries to ease the tension by commenting, "That's the norm for a contract with a devil, an acceptable margin of error." Despite the gravity of the situation, her lightheartedness suggests that this is all part of dealing with her devilish authority. Gilbagius seems to agree with the situation, finding some relief and says, "That's great, to be honest." He acknowledges the finality of the transformation, accepting what it means for their contract. Gilbagius, slightly amused, responds, "It's a pity, but—" She echoes his sentiment, but her calm demeanor suggests there may be more to this than she's letting on. Gilbagius lifts his head with a determined expression and says, "It's about time to go back." He's ready to conclude their dealings in the devil world, but there's a sense of resignation. Antendixis continues, "Indeed, what a pity," matching Gilbagius's mood with a slight smile, showing her agreement. A close-up of Gilbagius shows him laughing softly, "Heh heh," perhaps finding humor or irony in the situation as he contemplates their time in the devil world. In a sudden shift, the mood grows intense as both characters stand side by side, looking forward with determination. The panel depicts a bam sound effect signaling something has caught their attention. Gilbagius narrows his eyes in the final small panel, focusing on something with curiosity, asking, It's unclear what has suddenly changed, but the shift from casual conversation to a more serious tone suggests something important is about to happen. Antendixis, with excitement, exclaims, "Oh my, it has been so long! How many thousand years have it been since I last visited the outside world?" Clearly excited at the prospect of leaving the devil world, her enthusiasm is uncontained. Gilbagius, visibly confused, questions, is it just me or you sounded like you're coming along? He's taken aback by Antendixus's assumption of joining him. Antendixus, still smiling widely, responds confidently, "Of course I am." Gilbagius is shocked, shouting, "Ha! You must be kidding me!" implying he can't believe Antendixus would come along. Gilbagius taps his chin, still concerned, as he tries to make sense of the situation. His thoughts shift to what the consequences might be, remembering a similar scenario. Didn't cannibals stay behind in the devil world? Antendixus dismisses his worries, assuring him that it will be nothing serious, just like sticking my fingertips out. Her casual attitude and the carefree vibe, along with a small hip-ho dance she does, suggests she's not concerned about the risks. Meanwhile, Gilbagius seems skeptical of her reasoning. Antendixus reveals that she has even prepared in advance for her visit, adding, "In order to save energy, I also made a place to stay in advance. Here," showing her thoroughness despite the laid-back attitude. Antendixus presents himself with confidence, saying, "Ta-da," showing off his accomplishment. Meanwhile, Antendixus is slipping and falling into his arms. A close-up shot reveals a glowing circular symbol on Gilbagius's chest as he states, "All is well," feeling satisfied with the situation. However, Antendixus's clumsy position suggests otherwise. Gilbagius shouts in frustration, "All is well, my ass!" clearly irritated by the chaotic result of the situation. His exasperated expression contrasts sharply with his earlier confidence. Gilbagius realizes the gravity of the situation, thinking to himself, "This can't be. She is going to follow me anywhere from now on." He pleads with Antendixus, telling her to stop as she holds on to him tightly. Antendixus laughs uncontrollably, shouting, "Bwah ha 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 ha," while Gilbagius, struggling to get free, yells, "Get out of me!" The scene is chaotic with both characters involved in a comedic and absurd moment. This page emphasizes the humorous dynamic between the two characters, with Gilbagius's plans backfiring and Antendixus thoroughly enjoying the chaos she's causing. Antendixus and Gilbagius arrive at a dark, ominous entrance, the dark portal of the devil world. Antendixus announces their arrival, setting the scene for a return to the real world. Gilbagius, visibly exhausted, acknowledges their arrival, thinking to himself that the journey back wasn't as easy as it once was. Gilbagius complains about the long travel distance, shouting in frustration, "The travel back distance was goddamn long, though." His expression shows clear exhaustion and irritation. A small figure, Otigos, departs with a simple farewell. "Thank you, Otigos," implying Otigos's assistance was part of the journey. Antendixus appears unfazed by the journey, innocently commenting, "Is it? That wasn't much, though," as if the trip was effortless for her. Gilbagius, still catching his breath, says, "Well then, we're going back to the real world," preparing himself for the next step despite his exhaustion. Gilbagius, pointing confidently, mentions their next destination. "Once we arrive there, we'll meet Platifia, the mother of this body." This suggests that their next objective is to meet an important figure, likely with a personal connection to Gilbagius. Gilbagius sternly reminds, the devil god contract must be kept a secret, emphasizing the potential consequences of the contract being revealed. Antendixus replies with a smirk, "Glad you get it," approving of his awareness. The narration further explains the risks of the contract becoming public knowledge, stating, "Who knows what kind of mess will entail if the content of the contract leaks out," showing that the secrecy is crucial to avoid disaster. Antendixus points out a benefit for Gilbagius. "Fortunately, you have two names." She explains that unless he uses the contracted name Alexander when exercising her authority, the effects will be weakened, hinting at the complex nature of their contract. Gilbagius realizes the implications of his earlier actions, stating, "I gave my name without thinking beforehand," showing a moment of regret or reflection about how hasty decisions might have long-term effects. Gilbagius contemplates aloud, in that case, rather than devil god of taboo. He's deep in thought, calculating his next move and keeping the contract a secret. He arrives at a solution, proposing, "Let's say that I made a contract with Ante, the devil of restriction." Gilbagius reasons this as a plausible cover story to maintain the secrecy of his pact with Antendixis. A figure, presumably Antendixis, reacts with a thud, seemingly surprised or playfully shocked by Gilbagius's suggestion, adding to the comical tone of the scene. Antendixis lies on the ground, twitching with exaggerated delight. She exclaims, "To think I am going to be degraded like a lowly devil. I am a devil god." Her words and expressions suggest a mix of reluctant amusement and over-the-top pleasure, fully embracing the dramatic irony of the situation. Antendixis continues her over-the-top response, declaring, "What a blasphemy!" as she writhes on the ground, causing a ruckus. Gilbagius, standing a distance away, looks at her antics with exasperation and remarks, "Seriously, you really are," implying that he's becoming used to her dramatics. Gilbagius, visibly distressed, shouts at Antendixis, "Don't act like that in front of Platifia, got it?" He is clearly worried about how Antendixis's behavior might cause issues with their upcoming encounter. Gilbagius exclaims, "Huh? My power increased just now. What is happening?" As he notices a sudden surge in his abilities. A narration box explains that by breaking the taboo of degrading the devil god, Antendixis, Gilbagius has become slightly stronger. Gilbagius, now eager to move on, commands Antendixis, "Come on, let's get going," showing that he is ready to move forward. He asks if she is prepared. "You are ready, right?" reaffirming their readiness to act. Antendixis, smiling playfully, teases Gilbagius by saying, "I'm looking forward to your acting as a demon." Her mischievous tone and playful demeanor suggest she is excited about what's to come. Antendixis gazes back at the devil world as she and Gilbagius step through the portal. With a calm expression, she says, "Farewell, devil world," as if acknowledging the end of one chapter in her journey. A serene image of a forest canopy dominates the scene, with the distant star-like symbol in the sky. Over this tranquil setting, Antendixis's words resonate. "I'll be leaving for a while," indicating her departure from the devil world for a significant period of time, perhaps signaling the beginning of a new adventure in the real world alongside Gilbagius. The scene opens with a vast, peaceful landscape of a village under the bright sky, giving a stark contrast to the darker tones of the devil world. The silence of the village suggests that Gilbagius and Antendixis have crossed over successfully into the real world. Gilbagius adjusts his eyes to the brightness of the real world's sun, noting how the sunlight looks different. He remarks, "Right, the sunlight should be this color," showing that it's been a while since he's been in this environment. Antendixis stretches as she steps forward, indicating her discomfort with the transition. She remarks, "It feels a bit weird since it has been a while. My mind and body feel cramped." This line expresses the toll the journey has taken on them both physically and mentally. Gilbagius reassures himself with a simple, "All right," as if trying to shake off the disorientation from the transition. As Gilbagius and Antendixis step into the real world, Gilbagius leads the way by saying, "Let's look for Platifia." They walk through the village, the atmosphere still quiet but bustling with their anticipation. The page zooms in on an empty street with buildings as they search for Platifia. The setting suggests that they are looking in a town or marketplace for her whereabouts. Gilbagius notices a figure sitting by a table and remarks, "Oh, there she is." This panel reveals their mother, Platifia, sitting outside a cafe, seemingly asleep or unconscious. As Gilbagius approaches Plataphia, he says, "Mother, I am back." But it's clear that Plataphia hasn't yet responded, possibly due to fatigue, as Antendixis observes that she is out cold. The image of Plataphia resting her head on the table adds a sense of weariness to her character. Plataphia, looking exhausted and slightly disoriented, gazes at Gilbagius with suspicion. She asks, "Who are you?" clearly not recognizing her own child due to her worn-out state. The panel emphasizes her exhaustion with heavy shading around her eyes. Gilbagius, shocked and concerned, responds, "Mother, it's me." He internally notes how incredibly worn out Plataphia looks, thinking, "I should be the one asking that," as he tries to grasp why his mother is in such a weakened condition. Plataphia stares at Gilbagius in silence, her eyes still filled with weariness and confusion, not immediately accepting his words. There is an awkward, tense pause. Plataphia suddenly stands up and, with an intense look, slams her hands on the table, demanding, "Who is the name of your devil educator?" Her tone and body language indicate she is deeply unsettled and struggling to regain control of the situation. Gilbagius tries to answer his mother's question. "Who was the one you had your first fight with?" His inner thoughts reflect, "That's also Sophia," as he nervously realizes the situation is tense. Meanwhile, Plataphia questions him further. "And what was the reason?" as she continues her line of interrogation. Flustered and uncomfortable, Gilbagius answers abruptly, "Because I wasn't studying." The closeness and intensity of the conversation are emphasized by his inner thoughts. Too close, as his mother continues to press him. Plataphia's expression becomes puzzled, and she begins to question her surroundings. She mutters, "Huh? Did Plataphia shrink somehow?" suggesting a moment of confusion, as if something feels off about the situation. Plataphia tilts her head, and in her dazed state she wonders, "This angle is kind of weird," revealing her increasing uncertainty about reality. Finally, Plataphia starts to recognize Gilbagius, asking, "Is it really you?" Her emotions surge as she yells, "Gilbagius!" grabbing him, pulling him close in a state of mixed realization and shock, creating a sudden and dramatic turn in the scene. Gilbagius suddenly gasps and exclaims, "I had an insane growth spurt!" His surprise is mirrored by his mother, Plataphia, as she looks at him in shock, realizing how much he has changed. Gilbagius is visibly taller and more mature than before. Plataphia, filled with relief and emotion, cries out, "It's really you! Thank goodness, Gilbagius!" She rushes to embrace him, tears streaming as she tightly clutches him, overwhelmed by the sudden change, yet relieved that it is indeed her son. Antendixis responds with a flat expression, commenting, "Yup, still within the margin of error," attempting to downplay the surprising transformation. However, she also has a bubble stating, "It's definitely not within the margin of error," showing that she is secretly astonished by Gilbagius's rapid growth. As Gilbagius moves to the inn, he reflects on the time difference between the devil world and the real world. While only a few days passed in the devil world, half a year has passed in the real world. Gilbagius hears from others that Plataphia was initially relaxed, but gradually became anxious as more time passed, and Gilbagius didn't return. The gossip among the noble mothers begins, mocking Plataphia. One mother sarcastically mentions that Gilbagius, the youngest prince to enter the devil world, has gone missing. Another noble mother laughs, wishing that Gilbagius will return alive, clearly making fun of the situation. A third noble mother remarks, "Oh my, your son hasn't returned yet?" further mocking Plataphia. The final panel shows how the mothers of other princes took turns visiting Plataphia, spreading the story of her missing son and gossiping behind her back. A narration begins, confirming that Plataphia had a mental breakdown due to the prolonged absence of Gilbagius. The image of her looks shocked, her face filled with worry and distress. The narrator reveals how Platifia couldn't sleep or eat properly and constantly thought of Gilbagius, to the point that her emotional state deteriorated significantly. We see Platifia at a dining table, staring at a meal she can't bring herself to eat, and later lying in bed unable to sleep, haunted by her concerns. The narration reflects on Platifia's isolation, indicating that she no longer felt like she had a place in the Demon King's castle. The narration continues, describing how Platifia spent half a year waiting and praying for Gilbagius's return, showing her overwhelming sense of desperation. Gilbagius arrives at the inn, reflecting on the heart-wrenching situation that has deeply affected his mother, showcasing the emotional toll of their separation. The scene is narrated as though Gilbagius brought a troublesome bad gal home to meet his mother, adding a humorous and awkward atmosphere to the meeting. Gilbagius and Antendixis sit across from Platifia, who is silent and observant. The tension in the air is palpable, making the situation seem like an awkward family meeting. Gilbagius formally introduces Antendixis to his mother, stating, "This is Ante, the devil of restriction," revealing the devil's new name after forming the contract. Antendixis, lying lazily on the sofa, internally laments about being treated like a lowly devil, her expression flustered yet slightly playful, showcasing her laid-back and mischievous personality. Platifia, seemingly in shock, processes the new information, her expression conveying a mix of confusion and disbelief. Platifia, observing Antendixis, acknowledges her as Gilbagius's contracted devil, noting the increase in his magic power after the contract was formed. Gilbagius asks Platifia if Antendixis is an upper-rank devil, curious about her standing. Platifia confirms this but adds, albeit a devil god though, showing that Antendixis holds a unique and high-ranking position. Antendixis, in her usual playful demeanor, expresses excitement while basking in the attention. Gilbagius confirms her status as an upper-rank devil, but admits he can't go into specifics due to the restrictions of their contract. Platifia speculates on Antendixis's authority, noting that her power must involve a binding type of magic since it can put restrictions even on herself. This hints at Antendixis's capability to enforce powerful, self-imposed limitations. Platifia acknowledges Gilbagius's achievement, praising him for forming such a significant contract on his first trip to the Devil World. This page continues to explore the dynamic between Gilbagius, Antendixis, and Platifia, highlighting the mystery surrounding Antendixis's true power while showcasing Platifia's pride in her son. Platifia nonchalantly mentions that concerns aren't necessary because next time he can just find one that's around when entering the Devil World. His carefree attitude contrasts with the situation. Gilbagius continues, stating that he might not be able to enter the Devil World again due to the contract's effects on his soul vessel. He smiles as if it's no big deal, while this realization seems to shock Platifia. Platifia is visibly confused and concerned, asking, "Huh?" as Gilbagius's words sink in. Her worry grows as she listens to the consequences of the contract. Platifia's concern deepens when Gilbagius explains that his soul vessel is now full because of the contract with Antendixis, preventing him from entering the Devil World in the future. Platifia, in a burst of alarm, yells, "You devil! What have you done?" realizing the gravity of the situation and panicking at the consequences of Gilbagius's careless actions. Her protective nature over her son shows in her outburst. Gilbagius, still unfazed, simply asks, "What? Is something wrong?" completely oblivious to the seriousness of the situation, adding a touch of humor to the moment. Platifia is furious, pointing out that because of Antendixis, Gilbagius can no longer form contracts with other devils. This is a major limitation in his growth as a demon ruler. Platifia continues to explain that Gilbagius is now stuck with only the authority magic granted by Antendixis, unable to gain new subordinates through other contracts. This bottlenecks his power and potential. Antendixis responds coldly, smirking as she claims it's too much for a mortal to handle multiple authorities at once anyway. She seems amused by Platiphia's concerns, implying that Gilbagius's current state is how things should be. Antendixis, visibly frustrated, says that this dilutes the contractor's power. Having too many contracts weakens the overall strength, making it impossible for Gilbagius to rise to greatness. Antendixis mockingly concludes that the whole situation is just plain pathetic. She belittles the entire issue, still smirking, as Gilbagius nervously sweats, caught between the two women. Platifia is furious and exclaims that calling something pathetic is a word that ignites the anger of the demon race the most. This is a grave insult among them. Platifia reflects on the idea that only those who have achieved great power or status within the demon race have the right to use such a word. The weight behind this insult is significant, showing her frustration with the situation. With a fiery glare, Platifia continues, saying that only the true powerhouses who have proven themselves are allowed to use that term. Her pride and strength are emphasized as she steps up to the challenge. Platifia, with an intense and almost mocking expression, challenges Antendixis directly, asking, "Would you like to try me then?" Her words imply a direct confrontation, fully confident in her abilities as a high-ranking demon. Antendixis stands firm with a cold expression, while Gilbagius looks tense and surprised as the scene unfolds before them. A swift movement happens in front of them. Platifia, in a dynamic motion, spins her spear with deadly precision. As she attacks, the text reads, "Spearmanship is prohibited," hinting that Platifia might be breaking a rule or defying some restriction in using her combat skills. A close-up of Platifia's face reveals her intense focus and determination. Her expression is sharp, as if preparing for a final blow or challenge. Antendixis reacts, remaining calm but alert, while a chain-like structure seems to appear in front of her. The word "halt" signals that she may be stopping the action before it escalates. The chains are tightly wrapped around, and a spear hovers near her, signifying her entrapment in the web of authority or power that controls the situation. The text, "Fa," suggests someone is calmly observing the situation. Chains wrap around Platifia, restricting her movements. The ominous text, "Resistance is prohibited," highlights the power or rule currently binding her. She struggles, gritting her teeth, but the chains continue to hold her. Antendixis stands with a smirk, clearly enjoying the upper hand in the battle. She mocks the situation, asking, Well, is that all you've got?" Her confidence radiates as she belittles Platifia's struggle. Antendixis confidently watches the scene unfold, showing no sign of worry or concern. She exudes dominance, fully in control of the situation as the struggle continues. A dramatic close-up of Platifia's face shows her gritting her teeth in determination or frustration with the text "Shemph," suggesting a mix of defiance and struggle. The visual intensity captures the moment's emotion and tension. This panel captures a dynamic burst, possibly Platifia breaking free from the chains that bound her. The explosive lines and scattering debris emphasize the force and suddenness of her action. The scene shifts to show Gilbagius's reaction, his eyes wide with surprise or shock, possibly at witnessing Platifia's display of power. His face conveys astonishment as he processes the unexpected turn of events. Antendixis calmly observes the aftermath, with a composed and confident expression. She remarks, "I guess that's about it," signaling that the fight has concluded, and her demeanor suggests that she was in control the whole time. Gilbagius, with a focused gaze, observes the situation with a serious expression, as if he is processing the power that Ante has just demonstrated. His eyes reflect the gravity of what he just witnessed. A reflective narration clarifies that what Antendixis previously said wasn't taboo, but prohibited, adding a subtle distinction about her abilities or the restrictions she operates under, hinting at complex magic rules. Platifias acknowledges her opponent's strength, remarking, "You are strong," which shows a rare moment of respect from her. This statement reinforces her authority while recognizing that her opponent had some merit in the battle. Antendixis sits confidently with a self-assured expression, claiming that she will make Gilbagius a splendid demon king. In the inset, she smiles casually, suggesting that Platiphia has received a great deal. Platiphia silently reacts to Antendixis's bold declaration, her expression tense, with just an ellipsis showing her unspoken thoughts. Gilbagius laughs lightly, commenting that achieving success in their goal wasn't easy. The other character remarks that Gilbagius has secured a great devil, showing approval of the accomplishment. The mood becomes more serious as Gilbagius sighs. Another character expresses concern about losing all contact with Gilbagius for half a year, implying a significant period of absence and worry. This page highlights the tension between relief at Gilbagius's success and the urgency to return to safety, as well as the emotional weight of Gilbagius's prolonged disappearance. A coffin is shown with a peaceful image of Gilbagius lying inside, implying a situation of either death or near-death status. The flowers surrounding the coffin add to the atmosphere of mourning or finality. A character is seen informing Gilbagius with urgency, stating that he was almost officially declared dead, which indicates the seriousness of the situation. Gilbagius looks surprised and slightly confused, responding with a simple, "Eh?" showing his shock or lack of awareness of how dire the situation had become. This page ends with a cliffhanger, capturing a moment of revelation for Gilbagius as he learns just how close he came to being officially declared dead during his absence. A character is warning Gilbagius that he is on the verge of being officially declared dead. This continues the tension from the previous scene, where Gilbagius was unaware of how close he came to being considered deceased. The urgency increases as another character mentions that returning soon is critical. They recognize that staying any longer could result in trouble, indicating the gravity of the situation. The focus shifts to a scene where Gilbagius and his companions are flying on a creature, possibly racing against time to return to the Demon King Castle. The aerial perspective of the Demon King Castle in the distance enhances the feeling of urgency. Gilbagius holds Platiphia, who is asleep. He reflects on why he suggested taking a rest first, showing concern for her condition. Platiphia, still asleep, shown resting peacefully. Gilbagius tries to communicate with Antendixis, asking if she can hear him. He seems to be addressing her while they continue their journey. Antendixis responds, questioning if it's related to something Gilbagius said at the inn. Gilbagius emphasizes that their contract was made to defeat the Demon King, not for him to become one. Antendixis reflects on the consequences of power, reminding Gilbagius that becoming a Demon King will lead to betrayal and revenge. A symbolic image of Gilbagius seated on a throne as the future Demon King, indicating the completion of his revenge. Gilbagius thinks back to the promise he made and realizes that his fate will unfold regardless of his desires. Gilbagius expresses his apathy about his future, stating he doesn't care about what happens to him after destroying the Demon Kingdom. Platiphia confidently declares to Gilbagius that she will report his survival and return to the Demon King. She shows a strong determination, ready to take action. Gilbagius watches Platiphia from behind, observing her walking away with a focused stride. He notes her recovery after taking a nap, showing her warrior-like demeanor. Antendixis, confused, asks Gilbagius why he should not come out with the other devils. His response is that if she mingles with them, they may realize that he is a devil god. Antendixis expresses her distaste for the situation, but continues explaining that only devil gods like her can recognize his true identity. Gilbagius walks away, reflecting on this information, pondering the reality of being recognized only by other devil gods. Antendixis, in thought, about the limited number of individuals who recognize her as a devil god. reflecting her secretive and exclusive existence. Antendixis confidently strides away, reflecting on the few souls daring enough to have seen her face, hinting at her intimidating presence and history. Sophia greets Gilbagius casually as he returns, his demeanor relaxed and familiar, indicating a strong and comfortable relationship. Sophia reacts with surprise and joy at Gilbagius's return, emphasizing her respect and affection towards him. Gilbagius and Sophia observe each other, with Sophia commenting on Gilbagius's growth during his absence, which points to physical and perhaps emotional changes he has undergone. Sophia humorously critiques Gilbagius's memory skills, noting his lack of focus on studies before he left, highlighting her role as his educational mentor and their playful rapport. Sophia probes Gilbagius about his activities away, particularly about whether he formed any new demonic contracts, showing her interest and concern for his adventures and decisions. Sophia introduces herself enthusiastically to Antendixis, illustrating her friendly and welcoming nature within their community. Antendixis dramatically appears, proclaiming an end to her suffering and announcing her presence with a triumphant attitude, instantly commanding attention. Antendixis's sudden appearance stuns Gilbagius and Sophia, causing a mix of shock and confusion as they struggle to comprehend her unexpected arrival. The atmosphere intensifies with Gilbagius and Antendixis witnessing Sophia's fall, which abruptly shifts the scene's tone from triumph to concern. Sophia identifies Antendixis as the devil god of taboo, indicating her significant and possibly feared status. Sophia questions why she is present, highlighting the gravity and unexpectedness of her arrival. Gilbagius and Antendixis realize they have been recognized immediately. Antendixis looks confused, wondering how she is being recognized by someone she does not remember meeting before. Sophia is shown in shock as she recognizes Antendixis, and her reaction shows that she is overwhelmed by the sudden realization. Sophia crouches down, addressing Antendixis directly and asking why she recognizes her, clearly puzzled by the situation. Sophia explains that when she was younger, out of curiosity, she snuck into Antendixis' residence, apologizing for her past rudeness. Antendixis listens intently to Sophia's explanation, her expression calm and curious, as Sophia recalls sneaking into her residence, unknowingly setting the stage for their current interaction. Antendixis, with a burst of excitement, recognizes Sophia and remembers her as the little devil from her childhood, indicating a past interaction that left a strong impression on her. Gilbagius is amused to learn that Sophia and Antendixis have a history, highlighting Sophia's mischievous past and her fearless nature even as a child. Antendixis humorously recalls how she had to teach Sophia about fear due to her intrusive and fearless behavior, and how she dealt with her antics like doodling on walls and rummaging through books. Sophia fondly reminisces about her childhood escapades in Antendixis's residence, expressing nostalgia over the memories and showing a softer, more personal connection to her past and Antendixis. Antendixis appears dominant and in control, suggesting a drastic action as she grips Sophia, who is visibly terrified. The proposal to potentially eliminate a threat underscores the severe consequences of their secrets being exposed. Antendixis articulates the necessity of taking severe measures, highlighting the risk associated with their covert contract with the devil god of taboo being discovered. Gilbagius is taken aback by Antendixis's sudden and severe suggestion, reflecting on the gravity of the situation and the potential ramifications of such an action. Gilbagius decisively opposes the idea of harming Sophia, showing his moral stance and the value he places on her life. Antendixis reacts with a curious "who?" reflecting her interest in Gilbagius's unexpected decision, which contrasts with her earlier aggressive stance. Gilbagius explains the practical reasons behind his decision, citing the potential negative consequences that could arise from Sophia's death, including worsening their situation with his mother's contracted demons. He emphasizes Sophia's importance to him, not just strategically but personally, as she is crucial to his education and growth. Sophia, overwhelmed by emotion, clings to Antendixis, illustrating her relief and the trust she places in him, while Antendixis acknowledges his decision with a nod, understanding the broader implications. Antendixis seeks Sophia's assurance, asking if she can keep his real identity a secret, emphasizing the importance of confidentiality in their complex political and social landscape. Sophia struggles with the burden of the secret, expressing her internal conflict and the weight of the responsibility she feels. Sophia clarifies the stakes involved, explaining why the discovery of his contract with a devil god could jeopardize not only their positions, but also spark a succession dispute among the other princes. Sophia acknowledges the gravity of the situation, but expresses her limitation in keeping such significant secrets, highlighting her loyalty and the professional integrity she upholds even in difficult circumstances. Sophia challenges Gilbagius, questioning why he must keep the contract a secret from Madame, indicating the complexities of trust and transparency within their hierarchy. Gilbagius explains the magnitude of his contract, emphasizing that it's significant enough to attract the attention of the devil god of taboo, highlighting the stakes involved in their situation. Gilbagius reflects on the real issue at hand, suggesting that what needs to be kept secret isn't just the devil god's identity, but the specific content of the contract, raising concerns about the implications if it were revealed. Sophia realizes the gravity of the situation, indicating that the information about the contract could potentially harm Madame, showcasing her loyalty and the burdens that come with their roles. Gilbagius acknowledges Sophia's intelligence, recognizing that she has deduced significant information from their brief conversation, which further complicates their predicament. Gilbagius stands in the shadow of a decision, with a character asserting that Sophia must be erased, a sentiment echoed by another as expected. This establishes a grim resolve among the characters. Caught between his obligations and his deal with Plataphia, Gilbagius grapples with the challenge of explaining his actions and choices to his allies and possibly confronting the consequences of his decisions. Frustrated, Gilbagius feels cornered by the situation, expressing that every option leads to a dead end, indicating his struggle to navigate the complex political and ethical landscape. Realizing he has limited options, Gilbagius contemplates revealing the details of his contract with Sophia, suggesting a pivotal moment where transparency could either solve or further complicate their dilemmas. Antendixis discusses the severity of a taboo violation, indicating that even for a devil god, certain rules carry heavy consequences. This heightens the tension surrounding the taboo in question. Sophia is visibly startled by the implications, signaling the gravity of the situation and her understanding of the consequences that might ensue. Antendixis poses a direct question to Sophia about her desires, reinforcing the importance of her choices and the stakes involved as they navigate their current predicament. Sophia expresses discomfort about the devil world, reflecting her unease and highlighting her desire for knowledge and power instead of a life of fear. Sophia's determination is evident as she reveals her fear of dying, indicating her motivation to survive and grow stronger in this hostile environment. Sophia, in a submissive posture, asks if the current discussion relates to the demon woman, signaling her concern or fear regarding the topic. Her body language suggests a sense of apprehension. Gilbagius stands tall, appearing slightly puzzled or serious about the inquiry, indicating the importance of the moment as they discuss the demon woman's relevance to their situation. Antendixis, who is beside Sophia, appears to be in a comforting or reassuring position, perhaps trying to ease Sophia's worries regarding the demon woman. Gilbagius responds with a definitive no, indicating that the current matter is separate from the concerns about the demon woman, possibly dismissing the idea that they are related. Sophia is shown in distress as Antendixis reassures her about understanding her role and duties going forward. The emphasis on serving them better hints at the weight of expectations placed on Sophia, contrasting with her emotional state. Gilbagius confidently states that they are ready to proceed with the plan, showcasing his leadership and decisiveness as he addresses the group. Both Sophia and Antendixis react with surprise, their expressions indicating confusion about Gilbagius's assertiveness, highlighting their apprehension. As Gilbagius continues, he is interrupted by a panicked, "A minute!" from Sophia, who seems distressed and feels unprepared for what is about to unfold. Antendixis reassures Sophia, attempting to soothe her anxiety as she explains the situation, suggesting a level of calm in the midst of tension. Gilbagius, looking perplexed, seeks clarification from Antendixis about what happened, showcasing his concern and desire for understanding in the face of confusion. Gilbagius reflects on the situation involving the Dark Portal, recognizing that Sophia lacks knowledge of the intricate details. This observation introduces the complexity of their predicament and hints at her limited understanding. The tone shifts as it's revealed that devils have an obligation to report any potential harm to their contractors, highlighting a sense of urgency and responsibility in the situation. Gilbagius expresses that there is no loophole for Sophia's actions, increasing the stakes of the contract and the dangers it entails. Gilbagius reacts sharply to Sophia's actions, noting that she has tainted her hands with taboo. This emphasizes the gravity of her choices and the risks she has willingly undertaken. Sophia is depicted in a vulnerable state, illustrating her internal conflict as she grapples with the implications of her choices, including abandoning her ties to the devil world, revealing her struggle and the consequences of her decisions. The gravity of the situation deepens as Gilbagius explains that Sophia's actions prioritize her interests above everything, which is considered taboo, intensifying the emotional weight of the conversation. This page captures the complex interplay of duty, consequences, and personal sacrifice as the characters confront the ramifications of their actions within the context of their contracts and the devil world. The scene depicts Sophia visibly distressed, highlighting her emotional turmoil as she grapples with the truth regarding her circumstances and aspirations. Her desire to raise her rank is thwarted, resulting in her breaking down in tears. Gilbagius observes the situation, his expression reflecting a deep understanding of the weight of Sophia's feelings, indicating a bond of empathy and shared struggle. A close-up of Gilbagius showcases his conflicted emotions, showing concern and a sense of responsibility towards Sophia as he contemplates the challenges they face. The sound of footsteps emphasizes the urgency in the scene as someone approaches, hinting at an impending confrontation or significant development in their story. Gilbagius reflects on the chaotic nature of the current situation, framing it as an unexpectedly complicated greeting, foreshadowing a twist in their unfolding narrative. Platifia bursts into the scene, calling out to Gilbagius and Sophia with urgency. Her entrance is dramatic, signifying a critical moment in their journey. Sophia, visibly startled, reacts to Platifia's sudden arrival. Her wide-eyed expression captures the tension and surprise of the moment. Gilbagius stands resolutely, reflecting a mix of determination and focus as he prepares for what's to come, indicating he is ready to face whatever challenge lies ahead. Platifia, full of energy and resolve, declares her intent to bestow magic upon Gilbagius, emphasizing the significance of this moment. The panel captures her commanding presence and the gravity of her words, setting the stage for a pivotal transformation or enhancement. Gilbagius is visibly puzzled, processing the idea of receiving magic from Platifia. His expression conveys surprise and a hint of skepticism regarding the situation. Sophia expresses curiosity about the followers of other princes who have reported their return, indicating the political dynamics at play. Her stance reflects her attentiveness to the unfolding events. Platifia clarifies the situation, explaining the concerns raised by the followers of the other princes. She emphasizes the impact of their return on the broader political landscape. Platifia reflects on the mix-up where she mistakenly identified someone else as her grown-up child, underscoring the gravity of her longing and the stakes involved in their return. Platifia reveals that she was reported as insane due to her prolonged wait for her son's return, indicating the emotional weight she carries and how it affects her judgment. Platifia is visibly shocked and stammering in response to the revelation that he is seen as a replacement for Platifia's son. Her expression conveys disbelief and concern about the implications of this statement. Platifia's dialogue reveals that rumors are circulating about her and Gilbagius, with others suggesting he is a mere replacement. This adds pressure to their situation and highlights the scrutiny they face. The narrative shifts to emphasize the importance of bloodlines, with Platifia stating that Gilbagius must prove his lineage. This indicates a significant challenge ahead, raising stakes for his character. Platifia explains the unique magic that her clan, the Reiju clan, shares with the Olgi clan, underlining the importance of their heritage and the expectations placed on Gilbagius. The stern expression on the Olgi clan leader emphasizes the gravity of the situation, as both clans have a long-standing history that intertwines their fates and powers. Platifia informs Gilbagius that he will learn Aeon bloodline magic, indicating an important step in his training and growth. The seriousness of her expression underscores the significance of this magic. Gilbagius is taken aback, signifying the weight of this new responsibility. His expression shows both surprise and a hint of determination. Gilbagius sighs, acknowledging the relentless series of challenges he faces, reflecting his feeling of being overwhelmed by the situation. Platifia asks Sophia if she is okay with the plan, highlighting the teamwork and cooperation necessary among the characters. Sophia's response shows her acceptance of the decision. Sophia, while appearing somewhat timid, agrees, acknowledging the potential usefulness of combining the unique magics of both demon clans. This indicates her commitment to supporting Gilbagius on his journey. The sudden sound indicates the activation of a magical barrier, setting a serious tone as Platifia prepares to perform a significant ritual or treatment. Platifia explains to Gilbagius that the Reiju clan, known for their expertise in medical treatment within the demon community, is responsible for treating demons in the demon kingdom. This highlights their crucial role and specialized skills. Platifia reveals that Gilbagius will be receiving healing magic, emphasizing the importance of his well-being for their plans. Gilbagius, caught off guard, questions this unexpected turn of events. Gilbagius's reaction, "No way," expresses his surprise or disbelief, indicating he might not have anticipated needing such treatment, or perhaps he's stunned at the capabilities or intentions behind it. A magical circle activates, signifying the commencement of a powerful healing spell. Platifia clarifies that healing magic is a rare miracle, traditionally used by beings with light attribute magic like mountain elves and priests, emphasizing its rarity and potency. Platifia, confident and resolute, initiates the healing process with a powerful gesture, indicating her determination and capability to defy the norms of clan abilities. The word flow hints at the magical energy being harnessed for healing. The scene grows tense as Gilbagius, in a moment of vulnerability, whispers, "Mother." This personal invocation adds a layer of depth to the situation, revealing his emotional state and potential surprise at the unfolding events. The panel shows Platifia speaking solemnly about the bloodline magic of Reiju clan, expressing that she is initiating this process much earlier than planned. Her face is marked by a sense of urgency and resolution, indicating the gravity of the situation. Gilbagius appears overwhelmed and in a state of pain or shock as the magic called metaphase is unleashed around him. The dynamic and sharp visual elements convey the intensity and power of the Reiju clan's magic, suggesting a transformative or crucial phase in Gilbagius's journey. Platifia extends her injured hand, glowing with energy, toward Gilbagius. The light emanating from her hand signifies the activation of their bloodline magic, Metaphase, as she demonstrates her power to him. Gilbagius reacts with awe and realization as the power flows into him. His expression, marked by surprise, is accompanied by the words, "So that's how it is." A moment of clarity as he begins to understand and inherit the magic of their bloodline. This pivotal scene showcases the transfer of power and the bond between mother and son, with Gilbagius awakening to the formidable strength of their shared lineage. The dialogue reveals the true nature of what was thought to be healing magic, explaining it as a dangerous curse that transfers injuries and illnesses to another person. The character emphasizes the severity by calling it an annoying curse and not a blessing, indicating its potential misuse and consequences. Platifia further explains the mechanics and limitations of the metaphase magic, stating that it only works on someone weaker or someone with a magical connection, or a creature that is under control. This insight is crucial as it sets the conditions under which this powerful magic operates. The scene concludes with a historical reference, mentioning how no one from the Reiju clan could interfere when the magic was used against Raugas, the first demon king. This backstory hints at the depth and history of magic within this universe, showing its impact across generations and its pivotal role in the defeat of powerful figures. Platifia reflects on the potential of Gilbagius's father's magic power, describing how, if fully utilized, it could have prevented past tragedies. The mention of his power being absurdly powerful to the extent of bouncing back all curses highlights the might and feared capabilities within him. Continuing from the previous thought, there's a lament about the irreversible nature of past events and an acknowledgement of the tragic implications if Gilbagius's father had misused his power. He speculates that it could have led to him becoming the most formidable demon king in history by transferring injuries to his opponents during combat, a ruthless strategy in warfare. The dialogue ends with a realization of another crucial aspect of Gilbagius's father's power that hadn't been fully appreciated before. Gilbagius expresses shock and awe at the strength of this power, describing it as outrageously strong. This realization seems to be a pivotal moment, possibly altering Gilbagius's perception of his own capabilities or future strategies. Ante explains to Gilbagius the limitations of metaphase, noting that the curse will not pass unless the target accepts it or has equal strength. She stresses the need for a workaround. Ante continues to outline the conditions under which metaphase can be effectively used, pointing out that it can be intriguing if properly managed. Ante expresses optimism about the potential applications of metaphase, noting it could be interesting. Gilbagius is intrigued by the possibilities of what they can do with metaphase, showing his eagerness to learn and utilize this power. Gilbagius inquires if he can now use metaphase, to which Ante responds that any injuries must first be transferred back to her, emphasizing the importance of managing the consequences of their magic responsibly. Platifia speaks to Gilbagius, reminding him of their familial bond as mother and son. She acknowledges the magical connection between them, strengthened by the injury she caused him. Platifia urges Gilbagius to recognize and reflect on the deep magical connection between them, hinting at the profound implications of their bond. The scene transitions into the metaphase sequence, where Gilbagius experiences the powerful effects of this magical connection, dramatically illustrated as he reels from the impact. The narrative starts by reflecting on the past, describing the ancestor of the Reiju clan's initial wish to transfer her son's wounds to herself, showcasing a mother's sacrifice and love. As the scene transitions, the story illustrates the transformative and profound nature of a mother's love, intending to heal and protect her child at any cost. However, the visual and textual elements converge to highlight the unintended consequences of such deep magical intervention, showing that despite the initial noble intentions, the outcome was tragically flawed and corrupted. This panel emphasizes the transformation of the original maternal magic into a formidable curse, usable even in battle. The narrative highlights how the magic, originally born from a mother's love and intended to transfer pain from her child, evolved into a strategic weapon. Platifia remarks on the bittersweet nature of the curse's evolution, noting its excellence, but also the deep irony in its usage. It underscores how something so personal and protective became a tool for broader, potentially harmful applications. Platifia reflects on the legacy of the curse, which is now a unique and powerful asset that only her child can inherit. Her tone mixes pride with a hint of sorrow, reflecting on the lengths to which her clan would go to preserve and use such power, even if it means harming their own. Platifia congratulates Gilbagius on advancing in his magical abilities, acknowledging him as a fledgling magician, but reminding him of the necessity to master the metaphase. Platifia outlines the next steps for Gilbagius, indicating that he will receive further guidance on how to effectively utilize his subordinates through the assistance of a new maid. Platifia states her intention to provide Gilbagius with a new maid to celebrate his learning of bloodline magic, emphasizing the importance of this addition to his personal and magical development. Platifia leaves the responsibility of treating the new maid well to Gilbagius, emphasizing her trust in his judgment and leadership as she departs to attend to other matters. Platifia informs Gilbagius that a new unique magic training session is scheduled in 2 days with the Olgi clan, indicating the structured progression of his magical education. Platifia advises Gilbagius to rest well after the day's events, emphasizing the importance of recovery in the midst of intense training and developments. Gilbagius acknowledges the advice and agrees to comply, showing his readiness to continue his rigorous training. Gilbagius reflects on his recent activities, mentioning his efforts to persuade Sophia and his swift return from the Devil World by riding a dragon, highlighting the relentless pace of his duties and studies. Gilbagius flops onto his bed, proclaiming his exhaustion from the day's events in a dramatic and humorous fashion. Antendixis, surprised by Gilbagius's sudden decision to sleep, questions him, highlighting her disbelief that he could feel tired so quickly. Despite his fatigue, Gilbagius declares his intention to sleep without a worry in the world, his words echoing through the castle as he dismisses Antendixis's comment and expresses a lingering desire to explore the Demon King's castle. A character delivers a crucial report about Gilbagius, the last demon prince who was previously thought to have died in the Devil World, emphasizing the dramatic return of this key figure. The discussion continues, revealing that there are rumors suggesting that Platifia, the queen consort, has taken in a replacement for her deceased son, indicating the political and emotional complexity surrounding Gilbagius's return. A close-up of the characters reveals a sense of intrigue and concern regarding the implications of this situation, hinting at potential conflicts or challenges that may arise from these rumors. The scene shows the character reacting thoughtfully to the rumors, indicating a mixture of caution and strategic consideration as they contemplate the impact of Gilbagius's return on the demon world. An energetic and chaotic training scene unfolds, where the ambiance is lively, indicating rigorous activities linked to the practice of bloodline magic. The dialogue underscores the tension and distraction as someone tries to capture the attention of another amid the ongoing energetic environment, hinting at the intensity of training or preparations. The focus shifts to a character leisurely enjoying a meal, possibly detached from the ongoing events, which contrasts sharply with the fervor of the training ground described. A discussion about the ritual involving the bloodline magic of the Olgi clan reveals its importance and ongoing execution at the training grounds, with an indifferent response from one character suggesting varied interest levels among the participants. The scene features a new character engaging in a confident and provocative manner, expressing her views about the value or lack thereof of a virgin, whether real or an impostor. This dialogue hints at her bold character and sets a flirtatious tone. A new character addresses her audience directly, seemingly challenging the perceptions surrounding virginity and its implications, creating an air of intrigue and teasing the listeners with her assertions. The contrasting imagery of Gilbagius, depicted as sleeping soundly with zzz symbols, serves as a comic relief, emphasizing his unawareness of the charged conversation happening around him. The narrative indicates a continuation of the plot, leaving the reader anticipating the unfolding dynamics and interactions between the characters in the next segment. A distant voice calls out to Gilbagius, echoing through a grand and empty corridor, hinting at the scale and grandeur of the Demon King's palace. The voice gently urges him to wake up, suggesting a delicate situation. Gilbagius is shown in a close-up, seemingly disturbed from his sleep, with a sweat bead indicating stress or confusion. He appears increasingly conscious, mumbling in his half-asleep state, which emphasizes his disorientation and vulnerability at this moment. The focus shifts to Gilbagius struggling under an unspecified weight, hinting at a physical or metaphorical burden. He comments on the heaviness and describes it as something fluffy, which adds a layer of confusion and curiosity about what exactly is pressing down on him. A large, beastly figure looms over Gilbagius, greeting him with a good morning amidst heavy panting. The intensity and close proximity of the beast adds a sense of surprise or even threat to the wake-up call. Gilbagius, caught off guard, reacts with a startled expression. The contrast between his small form and the massive beast emphasizes his vulnerability at this moment. Sophia is alarmed by the sudden appearance of the beast and slams the door in panic, dashing away to seek help or safety. Her reaction underscores the unexpected and potentially dangerous situation they find themselves in. Sophia introduces the new maid, Garmia, to Gilbagius, confirming her identity as a beastman from the White Tiger clan, which establishes a new character's background and role within the household. Sophia jests about Gilbagius's reaction to Garmia, recalling an earlier moment when Gilbagius was startled, which lightens the mood and illustrates their playful dynamic. Gilbagius reacts with surprise, adding a humorous note to the introduction. Garmia's nervous demeanor suggests she's aware of the significance of serving a figure like Gilbagius. Garmia expresses her fervent dedication to Gilbagius, pledging her service with a deep commitment that reflects her clan's values. Sophia explains the historical context of the White Tiger clan's allegiance to the Reiju clan, emphasizing a long-standing bond rooted in loyalty and protection. Garmia passionately recounts the Reiju clan's role in protecting her people from human threats, illustrating a cycle of gratitude and service that strengthens their mutual bonds. Gilbagius acknowledges the White Tiger clan's renowned loyalty, hinting at the strategic and personal importance of such alliances within the demon society. Garmia passionately declares her clan's undying loyalty to Gilbagius, emphasizing it as their pride and the key to their eternal prosperity. Expressing an extreme measure of fidelity, Garmia states she would rather die than betray Gilbagius, showcasing the depth of her loyalty and the weight of the values upheld by the White Tiger clan. Gilbagius, in response, quietly acknowledges Garmia's intense dedication, reflecting on the profound loyalty that now supports his reign. This interaction highlights the dramatic and unshakable allegiance Garmia and her clan have towards their new lord. Ante acknowledges the strategic reasoning behind the Reiju clan's protection of the Beastmen, noting their low magical resistance but unwavering loyalty. Gilbagius confirms his understanding of the Reiju clan's actions, appreciating the Beastmen's loyalty as an asset. Viewing Garmia as a protective measure, Gilbagius reveals that she was given to him as a safeguard in dangerous situations, highlighting her potential role in absorbing any harm meant for him during his learning of the metaphase. Gilbagius formally greets Garmia, expressing a welcoming attitude towards his new maid from the White Tiger clan. Garmia, pleased and eager, responds enthusiastically, acknowledging Gilbagius as her master. Gilbagius reassures Garmia, indicating that he intends to treat her well, dispelling any concern she might have about her new role. Sophia comments on Gilbagius's initial fright. humorously noting that he had mistaken Garmia for an assassin possibly sent by his siblings, which underscores the tense dynamics within his family. The scene ends with a lighthearted moment as Garmia excitedly asks to prepare a meal, showing her eagerness to serve in her new position. Gilbagius acknowledges the awkwardness of being alone with Sophia, reflecting a moment of vulnerability in their relationship. Sophia, addressing Gilbagius with urgency, reminds him of his responsibilities to study magic after his meal, emphasizing her role in keeping him focused. Sophia's determination is evident as she asserts her intent to ensure Gilbagius doesn't forget about his studies, portraying her proactive attitude. Gilbagius responds with a smile, confirming his acceptance of Sophia's guidance, indicating a supportive dynamic between them. Gilbagius comments on how Sophia hasn't changed, reinforcing the consistency of her character and their established rapport. Sophia, with a playful grin, encourages Gilbagius to adapt to his new challenges, showcasing her role as both a mentor and a motivator. Sophia and Gilbagius are shown in a learning environment, where Gilbagius expresses his desire to join and learn from Sophia's lecture, emphasizing his eagerness to grasp new magical concepts. Sophia, seemingly under some strain or illness, coughs, indicating a possible personal struggle or side effect from her use or teaching of magic. An exposition on the nature of magic within their world, specifically noting that Gilbagius recently began learning about bloodline magic, a type passed down through clans. Gilbagius expresses relief upon learning that not every demon possesses the potent bloodline magics, which are exclusive to famous clans. Sophia explains the rarity and power of bloodline magics within the demon clans, underscoring their value and the prestige they bring. Sophia confirms to Gilbagius that every member of the Reiju clan can indeed use the formidable metaphase magic, which has significant implications for their status and power. The historical context of the Reiju clan's influence is revealed, showing both their high standing due to their unique magic and past challenges due to their failures involving the first demon king. Gilbagius reflects on the revelations about his mother, Platiphia's ambitions for him to become the demon king due to the prestigious bloodline magic, understanding her persistent obsession with his rise to power. Frustration is expressed by Gilbagius' father, who recounts how Platiphia's marriage was repeatedly postponed, emphasizing the challenges they faced due to the expectations set by her powerful lineage. The conversation shifts as Gilbagius inquires about other types of bloodline magic, showing his growing curiosity about the broader scope of magical powers within the demon clans. Sophia prepares to explain the bloodline magic of the Olgi clan, indicating the upcoming educational discourse that will further expand Gilbagius' understanding of the magical hierarchy within their society. Gilbagius ponders the mechanism of the introduction magic, reflecting on its strategic advantages and how it enhances a user's power if they introduce themselves before a battle. Sophia explains to Gilbagius about the unique magic introduction, which Gilbagius listens to with intrigue and confusion, trying to grasp how such a magic works. Recalling a past battle, Gilbagius remembers an opponent from the Olgi clan, the Demon King, who effectively utilized the introduction magic, revealing its potential in combat. Realizing his previous oversight, Gilbagius admits to Sophia that he hadn't recognized the importance of introduction magic, reflecting on his learning curve. An awkward moment arises between Gilbagius and Sophia when Gilbagius reacts inappropriately to the magic discussion. He quickly acknowledges his gaffe and apologizes, lightening the mood. This page illustrates Gilbagius's ongoing education about magical practices and his development in personal interactions, emphasizing his growth and the complexities of magic in their world. Gilbagius is shown laughing, struck by a humorous memory. This casual moment highlights his lighter side amidst the serious undertones of his training and responsibilities. The next day transition suggests a new phase. Gilbagius arrives at the army training grounds, confused about Platiphia's whereabouts, showcasing his anticipation or reliance on her presence for guidance or support. The scene at the Army training grounds is lively, with characters engaging actively, reflecting a robust training environment. Gilbagius's interactions suggest a mix of casual command and camaraderie with those around him. Platifia exclaims her newfound freedom and joy at the training grounds, humorously noting her inability to partake in battles since retiring from the front lines. Her light-hearted laughter reflects her current light-hearted state in contrast to her usual royal responsibilities. Gilbagius, slightly ruffled by the enthusiastic greeting, tries to keep up with the energetic pace set by the others, showing his more human side amidst the chaos of greetings. A surprising and somewhat comedic interaction occurs as a large figure recognizes Gilbagius, expressing a dramatic and playful shock at seeing him, which humorously juxtaposes his authoritative position with a personal encounter. An amusing misunderstanding unfolds about Gilbagius's age, highlighting the contrast between his youthful appearance and the significant responsibilities he bears. This light moment serves as a humorous relief from the intense discussions of magic and power that usually dominate the narrative. Platifia introduces Count Owalg, highlighting his role as the educator for Gilbagius in the Olgi clan's bloodline magic. His impressive background as a 280-year-old army veteran and former chieftain underscores his authority and knowledge. Platifia elaborates on Count Owalg's tenure and his significance within the Olgi clan, enhancing his stature and the weight of his teachings in Gilbagius's eyes. The Count's rugged yet dignified appearance draws a humorous comment from Gilbagius, calling him a savage in noble dress, which adds a light-hearted tone to their interaction. Gilbagius, acknowledging the Count's formidable presence and experience, expresses his willingness to learn, showcasing his respect and readiness for the instruction ahead. The scene transitions to practical learning, with Count Owalg preparing to demonstrate the potent magic of the Olgi clan, indicating an immediate start to Gilbagius's intense and hands-on magical education. This page sets the stage for Gilbagius's deeper immersion into the specialized magic of his lineage, reflecting the blend of respect, anticipation, and humor that characterizes his journey into the deeper realms of demonic power. Count Owalg dramatically introduces himself, emphasizing his former role as the war chieftain of the Olgi clan, using a powerful stance and commanding aura to make his presence known. The panel captures Owalg in action, showcasing his formidable power as he unleashes a demonstration of the Olgi clan's bloodline magic. His dynamic pose and the intense energy emanating from him highlight the strength and legacy he brings as a mentor to Gilbagius. Gilbagius struggles under the intense force of Count Owalg's demonstration, finding it difficult to withstand even with his demon physique, showcasing the significant power gap and the physical toll of the Olgi clan's magic. Count Owalg is depicted unleashing a barrage of power that visibly overwhelms Gilbagius, reiterating the immense pressure that Gilbagius recalls from a past encounter, signaling the daunting challenges ahead in mastering this formidable magic. Count Owalg joyously acknowledges the power of his magic, which is so intense that it shreds his clothes. His laughter fills the air, embracing the untamed nature of his demonstration as a show of the Olgi clan's raw, unbridled strength. Gilbagius, somewhat taken aback and pensive, acknowledges the ferocity of the magic he is being taught. This moment serves as a reality check for him, underlining the seriousness and the physical demands of mastering Olgi clan's magic. Count Owalg, catching his breath, reinforces the notion that being a warrior is essential in their clan. He emphasizes that the magic, known as introduction, serves as a rite of passage for true warriors, setting a foundational expectation for Gilbagius's training and future responsibilities. Count Owalg poses a personal question to Gilbagius, abruptly shifting the tone of their interaction. This question, seemingly out of context, suggests a deeper, possibly traditional significance within their training or culture. The dialogue continues with Owalg making a metaphorical comment about Gilbagius not having utilized his spear yet, implying that he is still untested or uninitiated in certain aspects of his life or training. Ewalg declares the day as memorable, indicating that significant events or lessons are expected to unfold, possibly involving Gilbagias's initiation into more profound and challenging aspects of the Olgi clan's magical practices. Ewalg emphasizes the serious nature of battle, asserting that to fight is to take lives. This declaration highlights the gravity and responsibility that comes with being a warrior. Gilbagias appears confused by Ewalg's perspective, indicating a potential misinterpretation of the warrior's ethos, and perhaps suggesting a more naive or idealistic view of combat. Ewalg stresses the importance of strength for a warrior, suggesting that physical prowess and mental fortitude are essential for survival in battle. As they discuss the necessary preparations, it becomes clear that they must complete a ritual before engaging in further actions. Gilbagias displays a moment of realization about the expectations and duties tied to his role. Ewalg presents to Gilbagias a line of chained human captives, describing them as remnants of the human race captured from previous battles. This grim introduction serves to instill a real-life context of the consequences and brutalities of war that Gilbagias must understand as part of his heritage and responsibilities as a member of a dominant demon clan. Gilbagias's shocked expression indicates his surprise, or possibly his discomfort, with the stark reality of war and its impact on human lives, setting the stage for potential ethical or moral dilemmas he might face in his journey as a warrior trained in the arts of his clan. Platafia holds out a dagger towards Gilbagias, asserting the importance of embracing the reality of becoming a warrior, emphasizing that he must be ready to take lives. Gilbagias looks on with a mix of apprehension and determination, reflecting the weight of the decision before him and the gravity of what it means to be a warrior. The tension escalates as the group of captured humans is introduced, highlighting the harsh realities of Gilbagias' path, reminding him that being a warrior involves serious consequences. This page underscores Gilbagias's internal struggle with the moral implications of his training and sets the stage for the challenges he will face in reconciling his identity with the expectations of warrior culture. The atmosphere intensifies as a call for bloodlust rises among the onlookers, urging Gilbagias to take action in the virgin graduation ritual, highlighting the societal expectations tied to this event. A figure casually reminisces about their own experiences with the ritual, creating a stark contrast between the gravity of Gilbagias' situation and the flippant attitude displayed by some veterans, indicating a disturbing normalization of violence. The focus shifts to Gilbagias as he processes the implications of this ritual, feeling the weight of the choice before him. Antendixis poses a critical question about Gilbagias's potential actions, prompting him to reflect on whether he will follow through with the violent expectations or defy them. Antendixis questions Gilbagias, asking, "Are you thinking of letting them live?" Her inquiry reflects her surprise or concern about Gilbagias's decision to spare the humans. Gilbagias responds with determination, commanding Garnia, "Release their chains." This act shows Gilbagias's choice to give the humans a chance at freedom despite the potential consequences. As Garnia releases the chains, Gilbagias also commands, "Don't do anything no matter what happens later." His order emphasizes that he does not want any intervention, possibly preparing for what may follow, hinting at the tension of the situation. Garnia, in distress, ponders whether to follow Gilbagias's orders or protect him, showcasing her internal struggle and loyalty to her master. She is torn between obeying his orders and ensuring his safety. Gilbagias calls for Antendixis, signaling that they may be preparing for a confrontation with the humans, hinting at the coming conflict and setting the stage for a potential battle. Gilbagias expresses his strong desire for the captured humans to return alive, showcasing his compassion and reluctance to engage in violence, despite the expectations of his warrior role. He asserts his identity as a hero, indicating his internal struggle to reconcile his heroic ideals with the brutal realities of the situation he finds himself in. The captured humans display fierce determination, yelling for revenge against the Dark Clan, representing the conflicting motivations at play within the larger narrative. Gilbagius reflects on his similarities with the captured humans, creating a moment of introspection that emphasizes the shared humanity between them, even as he grapples with the decision he must make. As he confronts his thoughts, Gilbagius battles with the conflict of wanting to protect while recognizing the expectations placed upon him as a warrior, setting the stage for critical choices regarding his path forward. Gilbagius contemplates his limitations, expressing frustration that his current value and status prevent him from saving any humans, which emphasizes the weight of his responsibilities and the conflicts he faces. Gilbagius resolves that everything he does is for the sake of destroying the kingdom, hinting at the sacrifices he may be willing to make to achieve this goal, underlining his intense desire for freedom and vengeance. Gilbagius declares his name with determination, signifying a strong commitment to his mission. His expression reveals a mix of resolve and anger as he focuses on his goal of destroying the demon kingdom, showcasing his inner turmoil. Gilbagius boldly proclaims his identity as the son of Demon King Golgias, reinforcing his royal lineage and the expectations that come with it. His expression conveys a mixture of determination and defiance, emphasizing his readiness to confront the humans ahead. He further asserts himself as the demon prince, Gilbagius, highlighting his status and the weight of his responsibilities. This declaration marks a pivotal moment, suggesting a shift in his character as he embraces his heritage. Gilbagius announces his intention to break the taboo, indicating a significant turning point in the narrative. This statement foreshadows potential conflicts and the breaking of established rules within the demon society, setting the stage for dramatic developments in his journey. This page serves as a culmination of Gilbagius's internal struggles and his determination to forge his path, hinting at the larger implications of his actions within the context of demon society and his quest for identity. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our next exciting recap. New videos will be dropped, so stay tuned.